Welcome to the Vol Bros, presented by the Ooltewah Club. My name is Evan. This is my brother Ruston, and we are two Vol Bros who are actually bros in real life. And as always, we're happy to represent the University of Tennessee on the Believe Entertainment Network. We appreciate Believe for believing in us. Massive network of, I don't know, 200-300 different shows. So strongly recommend you to check them out at believe.com. And hey, go check out the Ooltewah Club. Email them, let them know that we would so appreciate it if you would email them and let them know that you're so glad that they sponsor our show. That would be amazing. That would be so cool. We appreciate that. We have an absolutely huge show tonight. We've got tons of major sports to talk about, but we would be remiss if we did not start our show by congratulating Jacius Sears, not Spears, Sears. I was thinking Joel Spear in my mind. So Jacius, congratulations. 60-meter national champion indoor track and field. That is awesome. So another national title brought to Rocky Top by Jacius. That is an incredible feat. Congratulations. We know that you worked your entire life for this moment today, and that's super exciting. So on a day when we might be frustrated by other, sports, that is a beautiful moment for Tennessee athletics and for Miss Sears in particular. So congratulations. So proud of you. We've also got baseball, softball. Gosh, softball's killing it, man. Baseball, softball, men's and women's basketball. So Ruston, do you want to start with the not fun ones on the basketball side, or do you want to end with the fun ones in baseball and softball, or do you want to flip-flop it?
We can do whatever. That doesn't make a difference to me.
All right. Well, let's start with basketball. We'll end on a high note. How about that? Men's basketball. I'll tell you what, real quick, I'll run through the comments real quick, and then we'll get caught up. Richard, welcome, buddy. Back home, finally. That's what I'm talking about. I'm glad you're home, buddy, after 3 months, he said. He said, don't take time with your family for granted. It's precious. Amen, brother. Amen. Let's see. Mississippi Vol, welcome, buddy. He said, good evening, everybody. Hope the weekend has been kind to you. Could you do me a favor? Go and hit that like and subscribe button. I think that's an excellent idea. I think that's fantastic. David, welcome. Good to have you. He said, good evening, Evan and Ruston. Can't wait for basketball season to end for my blood pressure's sake. Baseball season is getting back on track. Softball's killing it. They are, man. They are just rolling right now. Jonathan, welcome, buddy. He said, hello in Ruston chat family. I hope everyone has had a great weekend so far. Don't forget to tell your mom and them about the Vol Bros. Absolutely. Text a buddy about the Vol Bros. Sanders, welcome. Good to have you, Sanders. She said, hey, guys, what about the softball team? They're killing it. They are killing it. We're going to talk about them here in a second. David said Chris Brazel at almost 6'5" ran a 4.3 640-yard dash at the combine. Yeah, he was scooting on that one. I watched that. Isn't it crazy that it used to be amazing if someone ran a 4.4, and now all these wide receivers and people are routinely running 4.3s. Mississippi Vol, welcome. He said, all right, I welcome him. Well, welcome again. He said, I was tickled to death to see our Vols on the Diamond bounce back from Friday. They beat two teams that aren't too bad. No doubt, man. He said, our ladies on the Diamond, wow, what can you say? Just pure dominance. Absolutely. Jonathan said, speaking of the Ooltewah Club, Ruston still needs to do the sim live on the show. That's what I'm talking about. Slim, welcome, buddy. Glad you're here too. Well, let's start with the men's basketball game last night, hosting Alabama. I mean, it certainly wasn't a must-win game, but it would have been nice for seeding in the NCAA tournament to win that game. And once again, the tale of the second half of the season, for the fourth time this in the last month, Tennessee had a double-digit lead. This time, as late as the second half. Normally it's in the first half. Yesterday it was second half, and they lost again. Ruston, what did you think about the game yesterday?
I mean, you don't want to make excuses, but the reality is if Nate Ament plays, we win. That game's a win all day if he plays. We did everything we needed to do defensively to hold them in check. The difference in the game was his points. We didn't have his points. I think I think they're going to look back on yesterday when they watch that film and really regret the last couple of possessions. I mean, you can't fault the final possession. Jacoby Gillespie got a fantastic look, and he
you can't.
shot.
Yeah, you can't ask for a better look than that.
But the possession before, to switch every screen and end up with JP on LeBaron Philon, like that just can't happen. That was Alabama's greatest wish.
Yep.
If anything, when the trap or when the screen came, what should have happened was JP should have hard hedged and trapped LeBaron Philon and forced him to give it up and make somebody else beat you. That's what should have happened. But to switch it and then try to hope that JP can guard LeBaron Philon in the open floor, like that's not going to happen ever.
He had no chance.
So I think when they watch it back, and I'll be curious to know if that's what was supposed to happen. I can't fathom that they did that intentionally. It is what it is. In the grand scheme of things, other than a little bit of a seeding alteration in the SEC tournament, I don't think it's going to have a whole lot of bearing on anything else. But would have been nice to have gotten the win, and if Nate had played, we would have.
Well, so before I talk about last night, we're sitting here talking about NCAA seeding. I know it sounds ridiculous, but honestly, the game that they have at South Carolina on Tuesday, and then they come home on Saturday against Vanderbilt. I'm going to be honest with you. I think the South Carolina game is more important than the Vanderbilt game, because if they lose that one, that's going to hurt them more than if they beat Vanderbilt. You know what I'm saying? Like that would hurt them more than what benefit it would be for beating Vanderbilt. So they have to win Tuesday night at South Carolina. They have to, because if they lose that, I'll go as far as to say this: if they lose at South Carolina, that drops them a whole seed in the tournament, in my opinion. If they win against Vanderbilt, I don't even think it moves them up a seed. It prevents them from dropping, but I don't even know if it would move them up a seed. So if they lose at South Carolina, though, they will 100% drop a seed. So I think that game is actually more important, because the negative consequences of losing that would be worse, or more impactful than the positive consequences of beating Vanderbilt at home. So that's a must win, in my opinion. Now let's go back to last night. First of all, the officiating was absolutely horrendous. I'm sorry. I'm not saying this as like that's why they lost the game, because it wasn't. They had a 13-point lead and they gave it up. In addition, the last shot of the game from Jacoby, that should have gone. I mean, the ball is halfway down. It's a really good look. Like, it should have gone. But my goodness, there were so many things that I was like, how are we not calling that a foul? But there was one in particular, this dude for Alabama, I can't remember who it was. He was on the wing. If you're watching on TV, he was on the wing on the top side of the screen. He drives the lane. And dude, if he took 5 steps, he took 30. I mean, I was like, he took 2 or 3 steps and then tried to jump and slide, then another step, then he shot. So 1, 2, 3, jump, slide, really 4, 5, and then 6 on the last step, and then he shot. No call. I mean, that one wasn't even close. Like, I get some of the contact stuff at the basket can really go either way. I get that. That was not even close. And that's a big deal, because that's 2 points. That's the game right there. So, officiating was absolutely horrendous. Second most important thing that came out of that game is I hope Nate Amen's okay. It was good to see him come back in the game. The fact that he did come back in the game, I know he had to leave after that, but the fact that he came back in the game gives me hope that it's nothing serious. But I'll be honest with you, that looked horrible. I mean, just like, your leg and your ankle are not supposed to go 2 different directions and underneath you like that. I mean, that was, not only did he come down on his knee bent under him, but then his foot and his ankle were twisted underneath that. I mean, it was just horrible looking. So I hope he's okay. I hope he can come back because man, they need him or their tournament chances are over if he's out. So with him, I think they're a Sweet 16 team. Without him, they might get bumped in the first round of 64. So I seriously hope that he is able to play. Some of the comments that came through, let's see here. I totally agree with your assessment of the last possession though on defense. They cannot let JP go one-on-one with a floor spread like they did. If that happened, they should have somebody, I don't care who it is, somebody needed to run over there and switch off as fast as they could. I know that leaves somebody wide open, but at least it's not Phylon, you know?
Well, but think about it this way. Who was JP guarding? Their starting center, the Sherrill kid. Okay, if he traps right there and forces Phylon to give it up with, 5-6 seconds left, he's passing it to the center who is 15 plus feet away from the basket. I'll take that trade any day of the week.
Yeah. Totally agree. Nolan, welcome, buddy. He said, hey, Vol bros, Lady Vols are cooked. Men's basketball won't make it past the Sweet 16 without Ament. And the baseball team will improve. Also, go Lady Baseballs. Jonathan said, I believe we would have won if Ament hadn't gotten hurt, but it's slightly concerning that one player is that important to this team.
Well, that one player averages 17 and a half points a game. You take 17 and a half points a game off any roster in America, and they're going to look different.
Well, and over the last, month and a half, he's been averaging 20-something points a game. Waniac said, one question, what was Burke thinking right before halftime shooting a 3 with 9 seconds left?
I got to be honest, I was a little surprised that Rick was so angry about that. He's wide open. There's 3-on-2. He's wide open. Good odds we're going to get the rebound. We've gotten every other offensive rebound the whole half. I was okay with that shot. I didn't understand why everybody lost their mind over it. I don't want a guard out there who's afraid to shoot the ball when he's wide open. And he was wide open.
Billy said, I can't believe they let Alabama win with a 12-point lead over them. I think it was actually 13. And then they took over. Bama came out of the locker room hot. People say you win and lose the game in the first 5 minutes of the second half. Well, Bama came out on fire in the first 5 minutes. They erased an 11-point deficit at halftime. Was that right?
Yeah.
They erased that real quick in the first 5 minutes of the half. Elijah said, I think we're a lock for a 5 seed. I say rest Nate, lose the first game of the SEC tournament, and get healthy for the NCAA tournament. He said, to be completely honest, I would much rather have a 6 than a 5 this year with how good some of the 12 seeds are going to be this year. Waniac said, agree, fouls weren't called that all second half. Yeah. Elijah said, a team doesn't score 40 plus in the paint and only shoot 8 free throws. That just doesn't happen. Exactly. Somebody made a point. They said our bigs had like 27 rebounds or 28 rebounds, but they are 4 big, post players. All 4 of them combined to shoot 4 free throws. I think it was either 4 or 6, one of the two. Like, that's ridiculous. I mean, unbelievable.
I haven't been able to confirm if it's true, but I saw somebody online said that Don Daly has officiated 4 games this year for Tennessee. He was there last night. We're 0-4. We've only lost 9 games. It's a little odd that one official was there for 4 of them.
Yeah.
And there was a play probably early second half where JP got just a felony assault on him and there was no call, and Don Daly was on the baseline, and I don't know if you saw it, they caught it on camera. JP turned and stared down Don Daly, and Don just kind of shrugged at him. So there's there's a video out there right now. I think it's midway through the first half or late first half of Rick Barnes just ripping Don Daly on the sideline.
Yep.
So I don't think there's a whole lot of love lost there. And if Rick has the ability to blackball anybody in the postseason, I have a feeling I know who it's going to be.
Yeah. Vols Titans 8 said, do you think we're better set up as a tournament team than regular season team? Sweet 16 feels like our ceiling. I personally don't think we're set up to be a better tournament team. I do think, it is important when you say what wins in March, it's senior point guard play. That's what wins. And thankfully we have that. And Jacoby Gillespie, we do have that. But the problem is we still have this really bad habit of going on long spells where we don't score. And in a new turn of events this year, we have now 4 times in the last month and a half given up a double-digit lead. That is very concerning. If it happened once or even twice, you'd be like, well, that was a fluke. It's now happened 4 times. It's becoming a habit now. That's what concerns me. What do you think, Ruston?
I think we're built for the NCAA tournament. I don't think we're built for the SEC tournament. I don't think we can play 3 games in a weekend. But I do like, defense travels. So I do like us in a neutral site in 2 games in a weekend. I think we can beat people up, turn it into a rock fight. And, a lot of times when you're in a neutral site, teams don't shoot well right off the bat. They got to get used to the gym, got to get used to the depth perception. And so, I think that does play to our advantage. And if Nate's healthy, I think we're fine. Now, if Nate's not healthy, could be an early exit.
Waniak said Bama players took 4 steps a lot last night. Is there no more traveling calls anymore? Can you just run with the ball without dribbling?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. Elijah said, luckily we didn't see. So he's talking about when Nate Ament hurt his leg. He said, luckily we didn't see his tibia snap. That's normally what happens with injuries like that. Yeah, it looked horrible. Waniak said, looked extremely bad. I thought Ament was seriously injured at first. I mean, I did too. How could you not, right? I mean, like I said, your leg's not supposed to do that. It is not. He's not Gumby, I mean, like your leg's not supposed to bend that way. It was awful looking. David said he doubts if Nate plays until the NCAA tournament. Elijah said the foul on JP on that rebound in the half was atrocious. Jonathan said, I think we might be best to rest Ament for the rest of the regular season so he could be completely healthy for the tournament. Let's see. Waniak said Berg hadn't hit a 3 and how long from 3? Just that was not the last shot I think you want before the half.
We were up by 12. We were up by 12. We had a 3-on-2 advantage, and he's wide open. And I mean, I'll be candid. I don't care how much time's left on the clock. If you're wide, I mean, no one literally within 20 feet of him, and 2 big post players underneath. And I think there was like 8 or 9 seconds left, and Jacoby was on the other side of half court. I'm sorry. I don't have an issue with that shot. I say shoot it every time.
James said he wasn't okay with Barnes smiling and laughing while shaking Nate Oates' hand after the game. Yeah, I get that. It was kind of awkward seeing that right after they had just lost, but that's part of Rick's personality. He's a super nice guy to everybody. But I agree with you. It was I don't know, it caught me too. Tony, welcome, buddy. He said, I'm just glad the seniors on the women's team won't be back. He said Kim needs some shooters. They don't believe in playing defense anyway. That's fair. I got a lot of thoughts about the women's team here in just a minute. Brent, welcome, buddy. Good to see you, Brent. He said Grant Ramey also shared that about Don Daly calling 4 losses. Deborah said, I missed a play. Nate Oates got the technical. What happened? Was it just not getting more fouls called? Well, they never said on TV what he said, but it had to have been something that he said to the ref when the ref walked past him. Because, I mean, they had just, missed a shot. We got a rebound. We're dribbling the ball up the court, and boom, technical. We hadn't even crossed half court yet. So as the referee passed by Nate said something to him, and it was apparently not nice. And that's what got the technical. Let's see. Elijah said Elite Eight ceiling. If we get the right one seed, I say give us UConn or Arizona, and I think there's a chance. Sanders said the Lady Vols are very frustrating. That is an accurate statement, Sanders. That is the comment of the night right there. That should have been the title of this video. The Lady Vols are very frustrating. Let's see. David said, I think we're staring at a 6 seed now. Yeah, I agree. Tony said, I hear the Lady Vols basketball team has a top 10 payroll, should have a top 10 team. I said 2 months ago they wouldn't finish in the top 6 in the SEC. 3-way tie for 7th. Pitiful. But they are the 6th seed in the SEC tournament. They did do that. That came out just actually I think like an hour ago. They just got that news. So we'll talk about that as well here in just a minute. They will play the winner of Alabama and Missouri late Thursday night. They are the last game of the night, Thursday night. Alabama and Missouri play Wednesday. The winner of that game plays Tennessee late Thursday night. If they win that, then they have to play Vanderbilt again. So let's see. Well, let's talk about the Lady Vols. All right, let's do that. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to? Because I have some things to say.
I mean, same old, and we knew we were going to lose that game. I was surprised it was as close as it was. This team doesn't have the mental toughness to fight sustained runs. If you look the last month or so, 3 weeks, somewhere around the 4-minute mark of the third quarter, 4 minutes left in the third quarter, seems to be the time when the wheels typically fall off, which tells me that's a conditioning issue. We're not strong enough to last through 3 quarters. I think this team has to. I think in the off season, you cut all but 7 of them, maybe 6. You go back to the drawing board and you identify toughness and shooting in the portal, and you build a roster around. If you want to play this style, you have to be tough and you have to be willing to guard. We do not guard anyone consistently. And the only way that we will win any games in the postseason is if we outscore people, because we will not consistently guard anyone. It's going to be real interesting to see what they do with this roster in the offseason. Yeah.
So, unfortunately, I feel like a broken record here. You said, same old. I said, yeah, that's exactly right. First thing I wrote down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things about the game tonight. The first thing I wrote down was, once again, we were careless with the basketball. I don't get that. I really don't. The men were struggling with that back in like December. And if everybody remembers, Rick Barnes, he implemented this thing in practice where he had balloons on the sideline. And every time they've had a turnover, they'd pop a balloon. When they got to the last balloon, practice essentially ended and it became a run fest. And they ran until they learned take care of the basketball. And you know what? It's pretty much worked. It's gotten way better. Why has Kim not done the same thing? Because the women, it's like they don't even care about the basketball. Just how many turnovers. Just forget the first, just look at the second half. How many turnovers did we have in the second half? And the thing is, go ahead, Russ.
So we actually only had 13, but what was glaring,
I bet 9 of them were in the second half.
It was 4 and 9. But what happens is it's always in glaring moments.
Oh, yeah.
It's the complete lack of composure where they always turn the ball over in key moments. And, it's mind-boggling. Like, they just cannot figure out how to stay under control when things are difficult. Like, they just
Okay,
lose their minds.
prime example. Prime example. The play where Nia Robertson got just essentially pulled down by the Blake's girl. She grabbed her
Mhm.
knee and tripped her. Nia stands up. At that point, she's the only person on our end of the court down there. Everybody else is at the Vanderbilt's end of the court. So we get the ball and we look up, and there's Nia standing at the free throw line on the other end of the court. The nearest person to her is just crossing half court. So she's got at least 25 feet of no one. You know what? I'll even be generous. 20 feet. Let's say she's 5 feet closer. She had 20 feet of no one anywhere near her. And we proceeded to throw the ball over her head, landing it almost out of bounds. She jumped up and barely tipped it and make sure it didn't just fly into the front row of the bleachers. How in the world does that even happen? I mean, if my goodness, they could have bounced past the ball to her, and no one would have been there to intercept it. Instead, we heave it into the front row of the bleachers. I'm just, what in the world? And then here comes Janiyah dribbling down the lane, almost in back-to-back possessions. Ball gets stolen from her twice in a row. They're just careless with the ball. And I'll even give you another one that didn't result in a turnover. We got the ball at one point. Talasia Cooper got a rebound on the low block nearest to the camera, and she throws an outlet pass to Nia Robertson, who was not on her side of the court. She was on the other side of the court on the wing near the sideline. And instead of making a strong overhead pass to her, she throws a lazy bounce pass across the court to her. There were 3 Vanderbilt defenders between Talasia and Nia. Three defenders. Thank the Lord, none of them were looking. They were all turned running back on defense. If any of them had stopped and looked at the ball, that would have been an interception for a layup for Vanderbilt. Like, you can't make that. You're playing Division I college basketball. You cannot make that pass. She is so fortunate that it didn't result in a turnover and a layup for them. Unbelievable. Just careless with the ball. My second thing I wrote down about the Lady Vols, they have no offense, none. And it's incredibly frustrating to watch. They have landed in this amoeba, half Kim style, half not fantasy land offense. And there's nothing to it. It blows my mind. So let's go back to when Kim was hired. When Kim Caldwell was hired, she was very adamant that she wanted to shoot the ball in the first 10 seconds of the shot clock. And not just any shot. If it wasn't a wide open layup, she wanted to shoot a 3 within the first 10 seconds of the shot clock. Unfortunately for Kim, she does not have the players to do that right now. And part of that's on her because this year she went out and got a whole new roster and apparently didn't really evaluate them very well. And all these transfer girls, only Nia had one game where she could shoot pretty well. Janiyah has shown flashes of being able to shoot throughout the year, but that's it. I mean, like we do not have the shooters that Kim wants to run her style. So instead, you would think that they would come down the court, run a set offense like every other team in the country, and try to score. We do that maybe 1/3 of the game. And the other 2/3 of the game, we come down. Maybe if we're lucky, we might have, had a couple dribble handoffs and maybe set one screen, and that's it. That's the whole offense. When we try to get to the basket, that's the whole offense. There was one possession in the last 2 minutes of the game, we came down the court. We had 5 out around the perimeter, and 4 of the 5 players did not move one step the whole time we were on offense. The whole thing was Jada Civil came down the court, tried to back her girl down and shoot, 10-foot jumper. That was the whole thing. No one moved. No one tried to set a screen. Nothing. Literally, 4 players just stood there. And then when the shot went up, none of them tried to crash the basket for a rebound. All 4 just stood there and watched. That's pathetic. The last shot of the game for us, we came down the court, 0 passes. Talasia just came down the court, took a couple dribbles, jacked up a 3, a contested 3. That was the whole possession. So they're not doing what Kim wanted to do initially because she knows she can't, but yet they also haven't committed to actually trying to run set offenses each time down the court. So they're just in this weird amoeba pickup basketball defense or offense, where they come down the court and maybe, they might set a screen or 2. Typically it's just maybe a dribble handoff or 2, and then they jack up a 3 or somebody tries to drive to the basket. There's no, it's incredibly frustrating to watch. That's all I got to say about that. They have no offense. None. Third point. At some point, you have to get a stop on defense. That's ridiculous to say, but at some point you have to if you want to win a basketball game. My goodness. There's one thing in particular I'm thinking about. They came down and Vanderbilt was just scoring at will in the second half. But there was one possession in particular. Vanderbilt had us 3-on-2. And the girl had the ball dribbling at the top of the key. Who was it? Spearman. It was Spearman was on the right-hand side of the lane with her back to her, trying to guard the other girl that she was supposed to be guarding. Meanwhile, the entire lane was wide open. The girl could have just gone in and had an easy layup if she wanted to. But for some reason, I don't know why, she pulled the ball back out and waited for everybody else to catch up, and then she ran and play. You have to try to play defense at some point. And they'll be like, okay, I'm going to play defense this possession. I'm not on this one, that kind of thing. And it's just bonkers to me. Another broken record thing here. Low basketball IQ. Okay, could you and I and everybody in the comments let me know, could we all agree that Michaela Blakes was the best player on the court today?
She's the best player on almost every court.
I totally agree. Okay. She, for a while there in the second half, felt like she couldn't miss. Every shot she was taking was going in. So why is it that she has the ball at the top of the key, maybe 2 inches behind the 3-point line, and the girl, I can't remember who it was, Gardner, she decides to play off of her and gives her about 4 feet of space, right at the edge of the 3-point line. In what world does that make sense? The girl hasn't missed since like last January, and we're playing off of her. Like you can't do that. You have to get up on her and make her uncomfortable. You can't just sag off of her and let the best shooter in the court, the best shooter in the state of Tennessee, just get to play whatever she wants to do and shoot. When that happened, I was just like, why in the world did we just do that? Why in the world did they just let her shoot that 3 right in their face? Blew me away. So that's the basketball IQ stuff. We've said that I don't know how many times. That goes hand in hand with not taking care of the basketball as well. But when the best shooter in the court has the ball at the top of the key, you might want to, I don't know, be within at least an arm's length of her. I don't know. That's just a suggestion from the gallery here. Last 2 things, because they go hand in hand. We were only down 9 points with a minute left. and we conceded the game and chose not to foul them. Of all the things that I've said, nothing infuriates me more than the fact that we just gave up, coaches included, with a minute left to play, with a single-digit deficit. They didn't have a double-digit lead. It was a single-digit lead with a minute left, and we didn't even attempt to foul them one time. I mean, at least foul them once. Make them go to the free throw line. If they make both shots, then you're down by 11. You know what? Kudos to them. They did what they were supposed to do. We're probably not going to come back from down 11 with a minute left. But at least foul them one time. Because what if they missed? And we get the rebound and go down and hit a three, and now it's a 6-point game with 55 seconds left. You can win that game at that point. Because of that, I'm out. I'm done with Kim and the whole staff. That was, in my opinion, the most embarrassing minute. That was worse than losing by the worst margin in history to South Carolina earlier this year, because we just flat out gave up with a minute left. The coaches included. That can literally never happen. That is the most inexcusable thing that happened the whole day. People say, well, you're down 9. Well, I've seen teams come back from down 10 with 56 seconds left. Duke, Maryland, 2001. I mean, like it happens. Okay. But you can't teach your team, oh, you're down by 9 with a minute left. Just give up. It's fine. You can't send that message to your team. And you especially can't do it after you go on the interwebs 2 weeks ago calling your team quitters in a post-game press conference saying, I got a team of a bunch of quitters. They'll quit on you. Well, guess what, Kim? You quit on the whole game today too. You quit on all of Vol Nation. Everybody who enjoys the Lady Vols just watched our coach tell her team, don't foul. It's fine. Don't foul. With a minute left with a single-digit deficit. You think Pat Summitt would have ever have done that? No. No coach would have done it. That blew my mind. And here's the second part of that. Listen, this ain't middle school basketball. This ain't high school basketball. You don't have to play people on senior night. You don't have to do that. Okay? But if you're going to give up the game anyway, if you're going to say, all right, we're done, at least put Nia Wynn, at least put her in for Kaya Wynn. I combined Nia and Kaya, Nia Robertson and Kaya Wynn in the one name. If you're going to just give up the game with a minute left, at least put the senior in on her last home game as a Lady Vol for the last minute where you're just letting them dribble out the clock. At least have enough decency and kindness to your player to put her in for that. Why in the world does she not get put in the game right there? I would be frustrated if I was Nia Wynn or Kaya Wynn. I keep calling her Nia. I told Ruston before we went live, I don't understand why Kaya hadn't been playing more the whole year personally, because she's fundamentally sound. She actually does have basketball IQ. You can see it when she gets on the court in the very few times. I think she's been in 3 games the whole year, something like that. When she comes in, you can see her make good decisions. You can see her know like the game and what should happen in certain situations. And we didn't put her in. It blows my mind. So because of that, I'm done, man. In my opinion, Kim Caldwell is firmly on the hot seat right now. If she doesn't turn, I mean, she's going to get another year. We know that. If she doesn't turn it around next year, adios. That's my opinion. I hope it ticked Danny off when she told him to give up and with a minute left. I hope it ticked him off. I really do. I know he hired her, but I hope it ticked him off because it ticked me off. That's for sure. Foul at least one time. Good grief. Foul at least one time. Make them at least make 2 free throws. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right. So the comments here, let's see. Matt said the Lady Vols have broken so many records this year. Sadly, you're right. They have. And a whole bunch of them hadn't been good ones, have they? David said, I think some of these freshmen that Kim recruited realize they don't fit her system and will go elsewhere. Jonathan said, if Hurst doesn't transfer, she needs to play way more next year. They need her 3-point shooting. Yeah, I agree totally.
Yeah, but she's also got to get better. I like Lauren. I think she's got a huge ceiling.
Defensively, she got to get better.
She has got to get quicker. She's got to learn how to shoot off the move. She is a rhythm spot shooter right now. And she's got to learn how to penetrate and kick. She's got to learn how to come off a screen and shoot. Because right now she is a very one-dimensional player. She's playing hard, but she needs to pick up about 2 steps. And I would say that about most of the team. I think one of the biggest things they've got to really evaluate in the offseason is the strength and conditioning program. They brought the Horvath guy from Glenville State with them. I don't know if he's over his head, if this is, a higher level than he is capable of training to. But we are physically weak and we do not last in games. And he's either got to pick it up a notch or 2 and really hold them accountable to get better, or they got to go hire somebody else.
Jonathan said, there's a good question from Greg for you. I'm going to put that up here in just a second. John said, I somewhat get why Kim has her system on who starts the games, but I wonder if she needs to pick 5 starters and run with them. David said, Kim put Lauren in. Lauren made good shots, but then takes her out. I don't know if Kim and her have some issue with each other, but she clearly doesn't want her playing much. James said, Evan, the problem is they don't trust each other to do their jobs. If you trust everyone else on the court, then you play D up on her. So here's my thing on that. Her job was to not let the girl have a wide open shot. That was her job. She played 2 steps off of her instead of being up. Best shooter on the court, you cannot play off of them at any time, period. So the girl, whoever it was that was Gardner, didn't do her job in that particular situation. Elijah said this team has 0 belief. That's totally fair. Sanders said, let's forget the Lady Vols tonight. They are embarrassing. Waniak said, I'm sorry, but with the team drama and all the crap going on, I'm not wasting my time watching these girls play. No effort, no buy-in, no IQ, just one pass and shoot. Sometimes not even one pass. Matt said, Evan going off. Elijah said, let us hear it. Billy said, this thing with Caldwell will be fired. She's not going to be fired this year. She'll be fired next year, I think, if she doesn't turn it around. Waniak said Pat Summitt would be rolling over in her grave. David said, I watch Kim in these interviews and you see she's feeling the pressure of this job. 100% agree. And you're watching her in real time regret taking this job. She wishes that she was still at Marshall.
I don't know about that. I mean, that's possible. That could be the case. That when I watch it, that's not what I'm seeing. I'm seeing someone who is extremely frustrated because she has the players she has and she can't do anything about it. Like, it is what it is. They're not going to change overnight. They're not going to become different people. They are who they are. And so they're trying to do the best they can with a roster of people who half of which don't want to be there. And so, you got to play with what you got. And so that's what they're doing. But there should be significant changes in the offseason.
Jonathan said, Evan rants are all right, but Ruston rants are superior. Deborah said, many Vol fans post-game said fans are being too hard on Kim, and it's an injustice to compare her to Pat Summitt. Your thoughts? So here are my thoughts on that. Unfortunately for Kim, that's the standard by which she will be measured her entire career at Tennessee. Unfortunately for any coach ever from, Holly Warlick on, they're always going to be compared to Pat Summitt. Is that fair? I don't know. Is it the way it is? Yeah. That's the standard. Pat made the Lady Vols into the best basketball program in the country. Unfortunately, it is no longer that, and that's very sad. My thing about tonight was I wasn't listen, I'm not getting there is no other Pat Summitt. That won't happen. That's not going to happen. So I'm not going to compare Kim to Pat. I'm just saying anybody would have been frustrated. All nations should be frustrated that they gave up with a minute left and conceded the game with a minute left with a single-digit deficit. That's bonkers to me. I wonder what Rick Barnes is thinking if he was watching that. I would love to know Rick's thoughts if he was watching that happen. Because I guarantee you Rick Barnes would have been fouling with a minute left to stop the clock, only down by a single-digit deficit. And so Pat, I guarantee you she would have been fouling to make sure that they earned that win at the free throw line. That just blew my mind when I saw that. Mississippi Vols said, I agree, Evan. Sooner or later, we're going to have to go in a different direction. David said, I remember earlier in the year when we won the first 6 SEC games, she was surprised. Now we know why she was surprised. Tony said, I'm also tired of seeing Lauren Hurst treat the ball like a hot potato. Yeah, I agree. She is looking to pass first instead of looking to shoot first. And they need her to look to shoot first. You're exactly right, Tony. She's done that all year. She needs to look to shoot first.
And when she's open, by all means, she should. The problem is she can't create her own shot. So if they're within an arm's length, she's not going to take the shot because she's a rhythm shooter. She has to get her rhythm going, and it's an easy shot to block. So she's either got to be, if she's wide open, she's got to take it. She can't pass it up. But if she's not open, she's going to give it up.
Jonathan said Ruston usually puts balloons on the screen after his rants to dampen the blow. Rhonda, welcome, Rhonda. Good to have you. She said, I'm late tonight and I first get to hear Evan rant. Good stuff. She said, Candace Parker may have something to say about the coach, especially with the Adidas money. I mean, that's fair, actually. That's fair. You think Candace was happy watching that tonight? I doubt it. I think that's a fair point, Rhonda. Money talks, doesn't it? It talks. Let's see here. Elijah said Kim needs to change the whole line subs if they already are trying to do to the best of their ability. That's the whole reason for the line subs, because we're supposed to be the hardest working team, on the court. Yeah, you're exactly right. Absolutely. Matt said, I believe Caldwell is young and still learning. It was a mistake to not foul at the end of the game. She's a fierce competitor and hopefully can adapt and win next year. Hope so, because in my opinion, I think she knows. She's stepping onto when they step into the gym for the first game next year, she's on the hot seat. I think she knows that. Waniak said Kim is frustrated because her kids aren't buying in. Jonathan said, I think Kim is just kind of done with this team. I think she's tried everything to get them to improve, but they don't seem to listen. So I think Kim is kind of checked out on them.
Yep.
And y'all are probably right. But what I'm saying is a coach can't do that. Like that, she can't do that. James said, watching Candace talk on a podcast about how Pat was when she was mad was great. She would kick them out of the gym, and if they tried to come in later to get more shots up, she would tell them not. She would tell them not to. She wouldn't let them in. Waniak said, don't want to be here and do what's asked. Bye, Felicia. Let's see. Vols Titans 8 said he thinks Caldwell's system is set up better for scrappy hustle players that can shoot threes and a chip on their shoulder. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. She's got to find 5 butt kickers in the portal. 5 girls that are angry, who want to go out and prove something, that will elevate the play of everyone else.
Billy said, Kim, if she doesn't change next year, it may be her last year, 100%. And
Well,
Chris
she's
said,
not going to change. She's got to alter the roster and get different players, but she's not going to change. She's done the same thing everywhere she's been.
Chris said, how did Vandy get better than us in everything? They got them an oil billionaire. BG said, the whole thing seems like a high school system.
It's the exact same thing Nate Oates is running in Alabama.
Difference is Nate has shooters. We don't. That's
right.
That's the difference. And they care and they play hard. That's very sad that we just said those words. They care and they play hard. How sad is that?
I mean, it comes down to evaluation. I will say it's a lot harder, and I'm not making excuses for them, but it is a lot harder to evaluate girls than guys. Guys wear their emotions on their sleeve. However they play is how they're going to play all the time. You know what you're getting when you recruit a guy, and you know what the flaws are as well, because it's all out there on display. Girls are a little better at being reserved and controlling or containing their thoughts, containing their emotions. And so you don't really fully know what you're getting when you're recruiting. So it is a little harder.
Sanders said, I just want the Lady Vols to be good again. Amen, sister. Amen. You want to see something hilarious? I'm drinking sport drink. Isn't that the most generic name you've ever seen in your life?
Well, it is Kirkland brand.
It is Kirkland. Not a sponsor, but could be. Call us Costco. We can make something happen. Sport drink by Kirkland. That cracks me up. Sport drink. They didn't even come up with a cool name Powerade. It's not like a crazy fancy name, but at least it's a name. Nah, we got sport drink. Oh man, cracks me up. Elijah said, "Good old sport drink." Absolutely. Jonathan said, "Evan Kim is human. I don't blame her for checking out on this team. If I had spent a full season trying to get them to listen, and they won't, you have to move on with your own mental health." I get that. I understand. Sanders said, "Can we talk about softball now to brighten up the blow?" Absolutely, Sanders. Let's do it. Let's talk about softball.
On. Was there a basketball question that you said you started
my
something,
bad.
you'd come back to it?
Greg said, Ruston, who do you think returns next year for the Lady Vols?
Yeah.
It's a really good question, by the way.
So Janiah Barker graduates, Nia Robertson graduates, Kaya Wynn graduates, Jersey Wolfenbarger graduates, Z Spearman graduates. So that leaves Talasia Cooper. I think because of her relationship with Kim, if Kim can get the right girls in the portal who can lead Talasia the right way, she will allow Talasia to be back. Alyssa Latham, I think you got to have her. I think she's your only tough player. She'll be a senior. She's got to be back. The 5 freshmen, I think all want to be there, and they all bought into this system, and they're probably a little perplexed why they're not getting to play this system. And so they all 5 will return and will be better for it, because I think Kim's going to surround them with 5 girls from the portal that really want to be there. I think the casualty is Kanaya Boyd. For whatever reason, she has not responded this year. She has been off all year, both personally and physically. So I would say the 5 freshmen, Alyssa Latham and Talasia Cooper. So that's 7. Then you've got Olivia Edwards and Gabby Minus coming in. Olivia Edwards is a big who can step out and shoot the ball. Highest rated recruit in 7 years at Tennessee. But also don't sleep on Gabby Minus. Gabby Minus is going to remind people of a more polished Denia Prawl. She's about 6'1", plays the wing. She can shoot it. she will come in and play right away. So you put those 7 with those 2, that's 9. And then I think you go get 5 girls in the portal who are all tough shooters who will come in with a chip on their shoulder. And I think Talasia Cooper is the kind of player she feeds off what's around her. And right now, what's around her is cancerous. And so if they can get 5 veterans to come in who all have anger issues and play a little ticked off, I think Talasia will actually feed off that and possibly play better. And it could help everybody all the way around. And then with a roster of 14, they can get back to rotating 12, 13, 14 girls and play the style they want to play and not what they're doing right now.
Some of the comments that came through, James said we need to do a top 5 drink/sodas segment on a show coming up. That's a good one. We will definitely do that, actually. Sport drink might make the list. Sport drink by Kirkland. Let's see. Deborah said, I'm still laughing over Ruston's Buffalo death machine at Colorado. And Matt said, Deborah, totally risk of death. Let's see. James said, I understand about Cooper, but I think she's the Boo Carter of the Lady Vols. That's fair. That's a fair analogy.
I don't know.
She's not chasing money like Boo was.
I don't know.
Her attitude stinks.
I'm kind of 50-50 on it. I've coached kids like her who are kind of chameleons. They adapt to the people that are around them. And I mean, let's just be candid. Ruby Whitehorn was a butt kicker. She would get out there and she'd scrap and she'd get after people and she was vocal. And when was Talasia Cooper at her best? When she was playing right next to Ruby Whitehorn. Ruby gets kicked off the team. Z Spearman decides to spend the entire season acting like somebody shot her dog. And all of a sudden, Talasia's kind of floating around like, I don't know what to do with myself. Nobody's leading. And then the one leader is Janiah Barker, who might be the most questionable person in the entire locker room. And so what happens? Talasia kind of becomes a chameleon again and starts floating to Janiah's personality, which is very hit or miss. You don't know what in the world you're going to get. There's a reason she's on her 3rd school in 4 years. There's a reason she got left behind last week. Not the best locker room fit there is. So I wonder if there were 5 veteran, hard-nosed butt kickers that came in. Would Talasia Cooper become a chameleon that becomes that? And if she does, we might see the best version of her. But they've got to be real selective in the portal, and they've got the money to do it. They've got this Adidas contract. They can go be very selective and find 5 girls who can shoot it, who don't mind to punch you in the face and tell you about it. We need 5 of those.
Well, I agree. I agree with you about Talasia. Anybody can change, but I'm out on her. I'm
not saying she can change. I'm saying she morphs to whatever is around her. That's not a good thing. But if you can surround her with people for a year who will morph her in the right direction, she can be really useful. If you can't, you got to let her go.
Yeah, it's a fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me, or as Michael Scott would say, strike 3 situation. She left South Carolina because, she was actually having to do what Don Staley wanted her to do. And she was like, nah, I ain't doing that. And so we've seen it 2 different places now. I would be totally fine if she is not back next year. Waniak mentioned the quarterback at Colorado died. I didn't even know that.
He died last night. He died last night in a car wreck.
I didn't even know that. That's very sad. Chris asked if dismissing Whitehorn could have caused a fracture in the locker room. 100% it could have. Diesel said she shouldn't have
Not
been let
not could
go.
have, not could have.
Yeah.
It did. Z Spearman has not been the same since she left. Z fell off a cliff. And it's, it's, and like I say, it's affecting Talasia too. And I wonder if it's part of Kanaya Boyd's issues also.
I'm going to say this though. Kim had no choice. She had to dismiss Ruby Whitehorn from the team.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah,
she got
that was a
arrested twice
no-brainer.
in just a few months of each other. Like you can't let that player stay on the team. You just can't. So,
but dadgummit, Molly Miller will try to rehabilitate you.
Yep. Let's see. Jonathan asked, do you think that they could play the Paldo twins at the same time, or is that giving too much height?
No chance.
You don't think they can?
No way. Too small.
I agree.
Too small, not physical enough. Good guards are just going to shoot it over the top of them. And I'll be honest, I don't think Maya's that good. I think Maya plays hard. I think she can give you 8 to 10 minutes a night that are, decent minutes off the bench. But I would definitely never give her as many minutes as Mia.
If you're needing people to go out there and just play hard, that would certainly be an option. But I do think you'd be giving up way too much height in that situation. Let's see. James said the question is, can Kim risk that on Cooper if it's her job or keeping Cooper? That's a fantastic point.
Those two things may be the same. Talasia Cooper might be the only thing that saves her job next year.
Yeah, it's a big risk in my opinion.
It is
on personally.
I'm not saying it's the ideal situation. It's not. But the reality is our leading scorer right now is Talasia Cooper with 16 points a game.
Yep. Matt said Kim better have excellent evaluations on the recruiting portal this year. Absolutely.
I don't even know that it has to be evaluations. I think it's just how much do you want? They've got the Adidas contract. They've got money. It literally just needs to be choose 5 girls that you really want and go call them and say, what's your price?
Yeah. Elijah said Maya's here because we need a Mia. It's another Brazel and his brother situation. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right. Well, let's finish the show with baseball. Listen, I'm going to give my thoughts. Do I?
And softball.
Oh, yeah. We didn't even talk about softball. Well, let's do baseball and then softball first, or softball last. Chris said, which happens first? Kim gets fired or Kitzelman runs a 4.940? Kim gets fired.
Kitzelman hurt himself in the draft this week at the combine.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, baseball, listen, in my opinion, if you're a Tennessee baseball fan, you have to be tickled pink with what happened this weekend in Texas. I know they lost to UCLA. Guess what? There's going to be a ton of other teams that lose to UCLA this year.
The very next day, UCLA run-rolled Texas A&M.
Yeah, exactly. So that doesn't concern me at all. The fact that they won 2 out of 3 in Texas, in my opinion, that is a huge success for this weekend. Because listen, they didn't go out there and play, Northwestern State Community College of the arts from Missouri. You know what I'm saying? Like they went out and they played some good competition. And so the fact that they came away with 2 wins, huge success in my opinion for Vol baseball this weekend. What do you think, Ruston?
Yeah, you won the 2 games you were supposed to, and you lost the one you were supposed to. I mean, it is what it is. I think UCLA did a good job in the portal, better than people probably realized. They got a dude hitting 8-hole that I think has hit 10 home runs already.
10 home runs in 11 games.
Nobody saw that coming. They found bats. Everybody knew they had pitching. They went out and found some bats. Beating Texas A&M in a run roll, that was impressive. And then this afternoon, they beat number 4 Mississippi State.
Yeah, so, that was a heck of a game right there.
So on the weekend, UCLA goes 3-0, beats 3 top 25 teams from the SEC. That's a pretty solid weekend.
Yeah, one of which by run. It's incredible.
You know, I'll just do a public service announcement for people. I've seen some crazy stuff in the last week online. People, it's college baseball. No one knows what they are right now, and anything can happen. This week alone, South Carolina lost to Queen's University of Charlotte. Okay? Queen's University of Charlotte, their first Power 4 win ever. And then 2 days later, South Carolina beat number 15 Clemson.
At Clemson.
Yeah. This week, number 6 Arkansas lost to Arkansas State and UT Arlington. UT Arlington was 2-8. Arkansas lost to both of those teams in the same week. Yesterday, Vanderbilt lost to 2-8 Arizona, an Arizona team that started the season 0-6 against no one. They beat Vanderbilt yesterday. Every single team is trying to figure out who they are, what they have, what the best roster combinations are, what the best lineup combinations are, who's your first closer, who's your setup guy, all these different things people are still trying to figure out. And there's going to be weird stuff happen this time of year. No college baseball coach in America wants to be good in March and February. It doesn't matter. They're just trying to figure things out. And Blake Grimmer and Garrett Wright haven't stepped on a field yet for Tennessee. And both of those guys are going to be major factors. So we have no idea what this team is going to be. We don't know what the lineup's going to look like a month from now. They've got options. They're getting guys reps in a lot of different ways. I thought it was real interesting that they bumped Chris Newstrom to first base today. And that paid off. Levi Clark threw out a guy from behind the plate. Levi Clark had an RBI double today. Maybe that was the swing he needed to break out of his slump. People just need to be patient. This team will be fine. And this team will, I believe, be one of the top 8 teams in America when the season ends.
So, huge success for the ball baseball this weekend. Huge success. Some of the comments that came through, Elijah said, really wish I could have watched the baseball games. I hate Flow Sports too much to buy that trash product. Yep, agreed.
Yep. What's more insane was they want $20 a month. It's like $20 a month. Yeah. Half the field you're using some dad's iPad strapped to the backstop. Like, what are you talking about? $20 a month. There's no way.
Shout out to all the dads out there working with Flow Sports. Oh man, that's pretty good. Wayniak said, yeah, UCLA has some dudes for sure. Elijah said, I like the way they responded yesterday and today. I was hoping we go 2-1 before the weekend started, and that's exactly what happened. Absolutely. Nolan said the upside of that loss was that we hung with UCLA for 5 to 6 innings. Yeah, it was a close game. Absolutely.
Yeah. Ben McKee, after the weekend was over, Ben McKee said the Vols hit five fly ball outs that would have been home runs at Lindsey Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you've got a stadium that doesn't allow you to play to your strengths, obviously that's a concern for later in the year. You got to find other ways to score. But it's also good to know that they're swinging the bat well enough that they would have had multiple home runs at home this weekend.
Let's see. Jonathan said everyone saying Jermon McCoy was sitting out the season was proved wrong, in my opinion. He apparently still isn't cleared to even do drills at the combine. His knee had to be massively messed up.
He screwed up badly. Skipping doing drills at the combine was not a good choice.
Yeah, no one's going to take you first round if you won't even do drills at the combine because you're not healthy enough to do it.
And you've had all this time to get healthy. Like, he should be back by now.
Yeah, it's been a year. It's time. It's been over a year. It's been a year and a month.
It should be a 9-month rehab. It shouldn't be a 13-month rehab. That's not good.
Yep, agreed. Let's see. John said baseball season is absolutely bonkers. This season there has been a ton of upsets. It's fun for a fan, maybe not so much for a coach. Yep, for sure. James said, shout out to Ismael Sawana, SEC champion winner in the pole vault, 5.78 meters. That is what, 22 and a half feet? That's a lot.
I don't know. I don't speak Canadian.
5.78 meters to feet. No, it's more. It's 25 and a half feet. I thought it was 22 and a half. It's 25 and a half feet. That's high. Like that's a 2.5 story building that person just pole vaulted over. That is, imagine coming down from going over that bar and you're falling 25 and a half feet. That takes some guts to do that. I'm just saying. Nolan said it would be completely insano world if Elander made the World Series year one after we just lost the greatest Tennessee baseball coach of all time. Be pretty sweet though. Let's see.
I think we got the pitching to do it.
Chris said, throw in first-time coach figuring it out. Vols will be fine. Keep winning 2 of 3. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just keep winning 2 of 3. They have a tough weekend series this weekend with Wright State.
Yeah.
Wright State is good. If people will recall, that is the famous bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, walk-off grand slam from Drew Gilbert. That's the team that was against. Like that's going to be a good series. Baseball
they already
this week.
Yeah, they already gave Georgia all they wanted.
Baseball plays Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and then a 3-game series this weekend. Like they got a busy week. Let's see.
They took a game from Georgia. Georgia only won 2 out of 3.
Elijah said he wouldn't buy Flow Sports if it was only $5 a month. Jonathan said if we win 2 out of 3 every weekend, we'll have a great season. Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
Chris said Colton Hood made money at the combine. He sure did. Colton Hood has had a very good last 4 weeks because he was the standout player all week long at the Senior Bowl. And then he went to the combine. I mean, the dude has made himself, he will be drafted in the first round. Like that's going to happen. John said Flow Sports is bad, but Game Changer may be the worst. They're both terrible and should never college sports on them. Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah.
Deborah said, so if we're down in the 9th inning, you're saying the answer isn't to turn a buffalo loose on the field.
No, but it could be entertaining.
Let's see.
Did you see the hockey?
Always good to have a backup plan.
Did you see the video of the hockey game last night where it was a tie game and the guy was out on a breakaway and all of a sudden the lights went out in the stadium?
What?
Somebody wanted to make sure they didn't lose. So winning goal's about to happen. Oh, whoops, there went the lights.
Yeah. Sorry, I accidentally leaned back on the light switch. Elijah said, I really like our starting pitching, best 1-2-3 punch in the country. They're stout, no doubt. John said, you won't catch me doing anything like that. The ground hurts when you hit the ground. That pole vaulting and the abrupt stop when you hit the ground sucks also. I mean, that's a long way to fall. I don't care if you're landing on an inflatable thing. That's a long way to fall. Let's see. Elijah said Wright State also knocked Vandy out of the NCAA tournament last year. First 1 overall seed to not make it out of regionals. That's a good point.
Yep.
Waniac said, can you believe I actually purchased a Flow Sport membership just to watch today's game? That's good, man. He said tickets to the game would have cost me more. So there you go. That's fair. Tickets would have cost more, but I would recommend canceling that membership after this month because you won't need it the rest of the year.
Yep.
Matt said, if you ain't cheating, you aren't trying. Lights out. Well, let's finish the show with softball because, man, I'm so proud of those girls. Okay, you want to know the thing I'm most proud of? This is the thing I'm most proud of. First of all, you got to give credit to Carlin Pickens. She tied her career best with 15 strikeouts today. Now, you stop and consider that. Oh, he said he's already canceled the membership. You stop and consider that there are only 21 outs in the game. That's it. There's only 21. 15 of them were Carlin striking people out. That's incredible. But here's what I'm most proud of. This is the thing I'm most proud of for the Lady Vols. They're now 19-0. Twice this weekend, they started the game with a deficit. Like even today, they got down 2-0. And every single time they come back and win the game. They kudos to Karen Weekly and her staff for how they're coaching these girls. They have shown such maturity and such mental toughness and competitive character that, listen, they know they're undefeated. They know that. They know that there's probably going to be a slip up happen every once in a while, but they're fighting their tails off to make sure that doesn't happen. And they have had the maturity enough to continue to work hard and strive to win every game they play, even though they're undefeated so far. That takes a lot of maturity and a lot of mental fortitude. I'll put it that way. That is the thing I'm most proud of them, is that they have not let the headlines go to their heads. They have not let getting behind early in a game get them down. They have continued to fight, continued to play hard. I'm so proud of them for that reason alone. Go Lady Vols, go Karen Weekly. It is so much fun watching what they're doing right now. Go ahead, Ruston.
143-10.
Not too bad.
We've always had pitching. Kudos to Karen. She went out in the offseason and said, I need a top-line hitting coach. She went and got Craig Snyder, former head coach at Texas Tech. Before that, he was hitting coach for a while at Florida State. He's been a hitting guy that's had a lot of success everywhere he's been, and he has transformed the approach that these girls have at the plate. It's fun to watch them hit. There's not an easy out in that lineup. They all command the box. When they get in the box as a pitcher, you're kind of trying to guess where's the hole in the swing, like where do I pitch? But they all look like they are in complete control. He has them thinking, like they're not just up there hacking. You can watch him talking to them. He's talking about pitch sequence. He's talking about scouting reports. He's got them thinking about what they're going to get, and they're responding in a huge way. I mean, my goodness, Ella Dodge went from a pretty good hitter last year to an absolute terror this year. Like you cannot throw her something over the plate. It will not stay in the park. She's destroying everything she sees. And then you add on top of that Elsa Morrison, Mackenzie Butt, Taylon Holly. Like they got all these huge bats. But maybe the most impressive one in the whole thing, Sophia Knight is an absolute butt kicker in that leadoff spot. She's she's going to see 7 or 8 pitches every at bat, and she can get on. She's a slapper. She's a bunter. She hit a double off the wall today. She can get on 100 different ways, and she's insanely fast. So you got a table setter at the top that you definitely didn't have last year. in Sophia Knight, who can go out there and completely change a game in one at bat. It's impressive to watch. Kudos to Craig Snyder.
Ella Dodge is basically just saying, "Go ahead and put me first team All SEC right now."
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way she's playing right now. It is very impressive to watch. Very impressive to watch.
Yeah.
I love Elijah's comment. He said, "Whoever that Appalachian State pitcher is going to look so good in orange next year."
Yeah. Well, I don't know about the pitcher. I want the leadoff hitter.
Yeah, he said, and that lady that hit the homer off Pickens. Yeah.
The leadoff hitter is, I think, second or third in the country in home runs right now. Let's go get her.
Nolan said, softball team is incredible. Elijah said, I think we lose less than 6 games this year. They're that good. I totally agree. 100% agree. Waniak said, just one day, one practice, one game at a time. That's how they're treating it. That's right. Matt said, this softball team rocks. They're so good. Absolutely. Matt said, they are fun to watch. They sure are. Jonathan said, I wonder if the softball team will do like baseball and have a Friday, Saturday, Sunday starter come SEC play. They certainly have the pitchers to do it. That's an interesting idea.
I think I don't know if they'll do that. I think they will throw them 2 or 3 innings at a time, though. And it's very possible that in every game you could see all of them.
Yeah, agree.
Just to keep people off balance. Mackenzie Butt has been, she's DH some, and she's been our primary pinch hitter. In that role, she's hitting .394 with 4 home runs and 16 RBIs in only 33 at-bats. She has less at-bats than any starter, but she's hitting .394 with 4 bombs and 16 RBIs. Like that, to have somebody like that coming off the bench, it's just absurd.
Absolutely. Rhonda said it would be so sweet if Coach Weekly could get that natty. Amen. Totally agree. Totally agree. And Sean made a really good point. He said Newer has been impressive as well. What a tremendous addition. I mean,
yep.
That you're exactly right. You're exactly right.
She hasn't faced the same people Carlin has, but right now statistically she's actually our best pitcher. She's 8-0 with a .21 ERA. But it'll be interesting to see as they get deeper in the season and she sees better competition if she can keep that going.
Vols Titans 8 said, I like the more multiple use of pitchers. Pickens has a scouting report on her. No matter how hard she throws, we're a better team with diversity pitching. Sanders said, what I love is that Aaron Sage or Carlin didn't let the hits affect them. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'll be honest. I love the psychological games that Karen Weekly's playing with them right now. She has gotten their attention. They are bought in fully in what she's selling, and she spends as much time psychological coaching as she does anything else. I don't know if you saw the game today, but App State had second and third, and their best hitter was up, and Karen Weekly made Carlin intentionally walk her. And you could tell Carlin was not happy. She wanted to go get her. She didn't want to intentionally walk her. And from that at-bat on, she was lights out. Like she just got angry and started just attacking people. And she was throwing the hardest she was the entire game after that at-bat, which was late in the game. It was like 4th or 5th inning. The rest of the game, she was throwing harder than she was at the beginning of the game. She clearly was really, really angry about that. And I don't know if you saw the game yesterday when they were down. I guess it was like 2-0 or something. Whenever they were down, Karen Weekly called the entire team on the field, told them to pucker their butts and try to breathe.
Yeah.
And out there in the middle of the field, everything going on around them, the whole team standing there trying to do this. And she's like, all right, see, you can't breathe. So relax, quit puckering your butts, and go play. And then we proceeded to score 6 runs. She's She's pushing every button right now.
Absolutely. Deborah's asked, who do you think is the best competition in softball, conference, or league? Waniak said
Alabama.
the correct answer. You think Alabama? I think Oklahoma. Jonathan said probably Oklahoma or Texas. I'd say Oklahoma.
From a roster perspective, probably Oklahoma or Texas. From a complete package, Pat Murphy's one of the best to ever do it, and they're currently 18-0. So don't bet against Pat Murphy in Alabama ever.
I want to clarify something I mistakenly said earlier. I typed in 7.78 meters instead of 5.78 meters. So 7.78 meters is 25 and a half feet. 5.78 is 18.96 feet. So 19 feet. So not impressive. 19 feet. I mean, come on. Still incredibly impressive. So shout out to the person, Ismail Sawana, for pole vaulting 19 feet into the air. That's impressive. We hope everybody joins us Thursday night. We appreciate all 335 people watching across all three platforms right now. Thursday night's a special show for us. Tonight was our 299th episode. So Thursday night will be episode 300 for the Vol Bros. So we're very excited about that. We hope you'll join us at 9:00 that night. My goodness, we're going to have stuff to talk about. We'll have men's basketball. We'll have baseball. We'll have softball. Well, I mean, there's going to be tons of stuff to talk about. So we're also, as many of you know, we rank stuff now. Jonathan said, come on, Evan, you had one job to translate from Canadian to English.
That's why you shouldn't speak Canadian.
So we have we've had a lot of fun lately ranking different things. This past Thursday, we ranked the best football and college football entrances. This Thursday night, everybody go ahead and get your list made now. I've got 4 of my 5. I'm debating on my 5th one right now. It will be top 5 places to eat in the Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge area. That's this Thursday night. So obviously we're going to have a ton of stuff to talk about Thursday night. We'll have, like I said, basketball, baseball, and some softball. But we'll end the show. We'll take the last few minutes. We'll end the show by doing our top 5 places to eat in the Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge area. So I hope you'll join us. I hope you'll bring your top 5 as well. I think Ruston and I are probably going to have the same number 1 if I had to guess. But I've got 4 of my 5. I'm still debating on my 5th. Some of the other comments came through. Vols Titan 8 said, great stuff. Appreciate what y'all do. Go Big Orange. Hey, we thank you, buddy. Thank you. This has been a fun show. Mississippi Vols said, can't wait to be a part of it. Go Vols, baby. Absolutely. Appreciate you, buddy. Let's see. Waniak said, parlez-vous, Francois. Let's see. Jonathan said, great show as always. I'll see everybody Thursday night. Hope everyone has a great week. Thank you, buddy. Hope you do as well. Rhonda said, great job, guys. Thank you, Rhonda. We appreciate you so much. She said, go Vols, baby. Absolutely. Stingray said, great show, Vol Bros. Hey, thank you so much. We appreciate all of you. Like I said, we hope you'll join us Thursday night, 9:00 Eastern. And we look forward to seeing everybody then. Go Vols, baby. And we will see you all very, very soon.